welcome to Grow with Miss Nancy. I'm so glad you're here today. You know, it seems like we've been talking about feelings a little bit. You know, we talked about doing something that you wish you hadn't done, and then we started talking about being ashamed of things that we did. And today we're going to talk about sometimes we're just sad, you know? Have you ever been sad? I have been sad. And how do we respond when we're sad? I tell you what, let's do a little kind of almost like a game. I'm going to ask you what you do when you're sad, and then you respond, okay? So if you are sad, do you like to be alone? If so, put your arms around and hug yourself saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be all by myself if I'm sad. Well, what if that's not you? What if when you're sad, you like to be with others? If that's you, do your hands like this. I like to be with others. Well, what if when you're sad, you like to eat food, especially ice cream? Do like this and rub your tummy. Or when you're sad, if you cry, then you cover your face like this. Or when you're sad, if you want to distract yourself, maybe you watch TV, or you want to watch a movie, or you want to read a book, do like this. But all of us do something when we're sad, right? To try to help us feel better. You know, there's a story in the Bible about a fella who got really sad. And you would think that he wouldn't get really sad because he'd done something really great. But he felt really sad. His name was Elijah, and he was a prophet. He had done this really stupendous thing. You see, King Ahab, he was a really bad king. He came and he was talking to Elijah one day, and he said, Elijah, you are one troublemaker for Israel. Well, Elijah didn't like that at all. And he said, you know what, king? I'm going to show you who's the best. And so what he did was, God told him, get the bad prophets who are the prophets for Baal, which was a false god that King Ahab just loved. And we're going to have a contest. And we're going to have a contest, and we're going to have God against all these prophets, God named Baal. And we're going to see who's the strongest. So that's what they did. They got 2 bulls, and they cut them up in pieces, and the prophets of Baal put theirs on a pile of wood. And Elijah then said, call down Baal's fire to burn up that bull. So there were 450 prophets, and they were crying, and they were calling on their God, and they were cutting themselves to try to make it look really important for their Baal god to make this bull catch on fire and burn up. And nothing happened. And nothing happened. And nothing happened. And of course, Elijah knew nothing was going to happen because Baal has no power. And he said stuff like, maybe he's on vacation. Well, maybe he ought to be a little louder because maybe he's asleep. Or maybe he had to go to the potty and he's in the bathroom. So he was really making fun, wasn't he? And finally, when they could not get anything to happen, no fire came, no bull was burned up in a sacrifice. Elijah says, okay, you've had plenty of time. Now I'm going to show you what God can do. He said, get a jar, big jar of water and pour it on top of my bowl. And they did. And the people are watching, you know. Get another jar, a big jar of water, and pour it on top of my bowl. Make it good and wet. And then he said, get one more jar of water and pour it on my bull. You know that bull was soaking wet. You know there was water all around it. And then Elijah prayed, God, please show these people your power, that you are the God of this country. Show them that I am your prophet and that this is important to you. And fire came down from heaven and burned up that bull and burned up all the water, and the people were amazed. Well, you know who won that contest, don't you? And it turns out that Ahab was upset. He went back and he told his wife, Jezebel, and she was one wicked queen. And he said to her everything that had happened, and she sent a message to Elijah that said, Elijah, I don't like you at all. And within the next 24 hours, I'm going to make sure you're killed. That scared Elijah. And he said, man, I'm out of here. And he went running away. And he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran as far as he could until he was just totally wiped out, exhausted. And he fell down in a cave, and God sent angels to bring him food and water. And he went some more. And then he was just so upset, and he was so sad, and he felt like he was the last one, the last person who believed in God, the last one who was a prophet, who loved God and knew that Baal was nothing. And he was so sad. And God said, Elijah, I'm going to come to you. Come to the entrance of this cave where you are hiding because you're afraid of Jezebel. And I'm going to show you how powerful I am. So he stood at that cave. And this great big wind came by as God goes by, but God wasn't in that wind. And then there was an earthquake, but God was not in that earthquake. And then there was this big fire, but God was not in the fire. And there was a gentle whisper, and that was God telling him everything was okay and that he would be with him. You know, sometimes we feel sad. We feel like our world is like a whirlwind, like our world is like on fire, or there's an earthquake and everything's falling apart. But God's right there with you. He can be with you every day. And he knows that you're sad, but he has compassion on you to help make things right. And what did we say compassion was? Do you remember? It's a very strong feeling that I see your suffering and I want to help you get out of it. God has compassion for us, whether we're sad or happy. So keep that in mind if you're having one of those days where you're just a little sad. God wants you happy, and he's going to help take care of things. Okay? All right, well, I'll see you next week. Bye.